Question number 19 of the PhilNITS FE afternoon portion of the exam. In this question, there is a company called Company Y, which is an online retailer providing e-commerce web applications for customers to make purchases online, and also allows customers to post product reviews. The web application was developed and maintained in-house. The properties of the e-commerce web application are shown in Figure 1. I think that before we go through each one, we should look at the main question that we are supposed to answer, as well as the answer group. Here we have the blanks. We got two blanks, A and B, and it looks like the IG team has found that the incidents are most likely caused by using the same password on other leaked sites and blank, and they propose to implement two-factor authentication and blank to mitigate respective issues in the future. The management then agreed to the plan and the solutions were implemented accordingly. Okay, so looks like there are problems happening, there are incidents occurring, and the solution was to do a two-factor authentication. And another one that we need to find, because the same password was being used on other leak sites and blank. Okay, now as for the answer group, I did choose the correct answer for blank A, SQL injection, but with blank B, I ended up going with database encryption. So I didn't get the correct answer because the correct answer is supposed to be letter F. Now the reason why I chose SQL injection is because if I look at the description, this part in particular where we got, due to recent incidents with multiple customers reporting that their accounts were compromised, the management tasked the IT team to investigate and address the issues. The IT team found that many customer accounts logins were unnoticed by the actual account owners, and some of the accounts were used to post fake reviews. The IT team also discovered unauthorized access to the database with illegal queries executed with no trace of administration login. So the fact that there were illegal queries executed, I think, should at least make us think about SQL injection. Because how would you do something like queries if you don't have some sort of SQL injection or SQL type of commands? And the queries are going to the database because they have unauthorized access. Therefore, I thought that the first blank is likely gonna be this one, SQL injection. Okay, and we can see here that the incidents are most likely caused by using the same password on other leaked sites, and in this case, SQL injection. Okay, now the solution was to put a two-factor authentication, because if the same password is being used on other leaked sites and it's the password that is used for the website where the problems are occurring, then if you implement a two-factor authentication, the owner would know that someone has accessed his account. So that would solve the problem with the same password being used on other leak sites. And in this case, for letter B, adding a web application firewall supposedly mitigates the problem where you got the unauthorized access to the database with illegal queries executed with no trace of administration login. The database encryption answer, I thought that if we check the description before this, we'll see that there's already a firewall. In figure 1, we have these things where the web application resides on the database server in the internal network, and then the firewall is properly configured. So in that sense, we already have a firewall. The database can only be accessed from the web server. And some of the other stuff too that I would like to point out is the part about a customer is locked out and notified by email if there are 5 consecutive incorrect login attempts, which definitely solves the problem of online brute force attack. I think this is one of the choices that we got for blank A. So if you were thinking that what if it's not SQL injection, what could it be? Looks like online brute force attacks aren't the solution or aren't the cause of the problem, because the owner of the account in this case would be notified as well if there are 5 consecutive incorrect login attempts. Notified by email, where the email would have a recovery link, because an online brute force attack would try out several usernames and passwords, combination of these to log into the account. Now in this case, there are only 5 consecutive incorrect login attempts before the customer would be locked out and would be notified by email. Now the other option is to go with connection tapping, and I thought that it's also possible to tap the connection, and from there we could get hold of the passwords and access the database. But it looks like that in this case we are going for the SQL injection, because we already have in particular the keywords like database and queries, and it seemed to me that SQL injection would be the best answer in that sense. But really, the next problem, the blank that we get right after blank B, I thought that it would be the database encryption, because like I said a while ago, we already have a firewall, and if we were to or in this case encrypt the database, then even though a unauthorized user uses some kind of SQL injection, the output, I thought, would not be decrypted, so that they won't be able to make use of whatever data that comes out when they do the query. But according to the answers list, looks like really the best answer would be web application firewall. It could be an additional firewall to solve the problem, but I guess there are cases when we can think about the possibility of having a web application firewall as an additional security feature of the system, and I guess that would be the reason why it's the correct answer in this case.